week 19 of the fantasy basketball season. And here's a few centers I look to buy here with the fantasy league trade deadline here today on March 2nd. The first guy's Al Horford of the Boston Celtics. So Al Horford returns to the Celtics after the last few seasons. He's bounced around the league on the season, 9.4 points a game, 6.1 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 2.1 threes, and 47% from the field. So Horford, he's been a stretch five here for this Boston Celtic team. And over the last few weeks, the numbers have bumped up a bit as well, 11.5 a game, 5 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 2.8 threes, and 54% from the field. But I know Jaylen Brown's been out and he's going to be back in the lineup. But Al Horford, even with Brown in or out of the lineup, he's definitely a guy that can help you at the center position with the three-point shooting, decent field goal, rebounding, and he's a pretty good passer of the basketball as well. So right now, even if the numbers, like I said, gone up over the last few weeks, he's still a guy I don't think you got to give up much to get, and a guy that can help your fantasy team down the stretch here. February 23rd at the Pacers, 7 points, 7 boards, 6 assists, a block, at 375% from the field. February 25th at Philly, 15 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, a steal, 5 threes, 55% from the field. And February 27th at the New York Knicks, 13 points, 2 rebounds, an assist, 3 threes, and 55% from the field. So Al Horford, he can stretch the floor. He'll help you in three-point shooting, decent rebounder and passer. And right now, like I said, I don't think you got to give up much to get him. And I would try to trade for him with the deadline here today. The next guy, Karl-Anthony Towns of the Minnesota Timberwolves. So yes, I know there's no timetable for Karl-Anthony Towns to return from the calf injury, and he definitely could be another risky guy to go out there and try to trade for. And this is a severe injury, obviously. He's been out over 2 months now, is Towns, and he was having another good season, 20.8 points a game, 8.2 rebounds, 5.3 assists, 1.8 threes, and 50% from the field. But year in and year out, Karl-Anthony Towns, he's been a huge injury concern for fantasy owners on this Timberwolf team. And right now, the only way I'm going to try to get him on my roster, if I don't got to give up much to get him, I'm not going to give up a top 5 player on my team. Maybe I'll give up a top 8 and a top 10 guy on my roster to go get Karl-Anthony Towns, because he's still without a timetable. This Timberwolf team, they're down there in the standings trying to stay afloat in the Western Conference, but who knows if they're going to make it. And with the injury and the trade at the deadline, trading D'Angelo Russell away, they're probably not going to make it, is this Minnesota Timberwolf team. But anyway, Karl-Anthony Towns, if you could get him not for much, and he can return now within the next couple weeks here, he definitely could be a boost for fantasy owners in the stretch run. And if you don't got to give up much, you get him. If you still got to pay a premium price, you forget about it. But right now would be a time to buy Towns this week. Final center I look to buy and trade for. He is John Collins of the Atlanta Hawks. So this season's definitely been a down year, in my opinion, here for John Collins. 13.2 points a game, 7 rebounds, 1.2 assists, 1.2 blocks, and 50% from the field. So John Collins, he's a guy that had a lot of rumblings over the last couple trade deadlines of a guy that was going to get traded but never came to fruition. But I definitely think it could happen in the NBA offseason here. But anyway, the last few weeks here for Collins, 10 points a game, 3.3 rebounds, and 45% from the field. So Collins, he's definitely taken a back seat this season. With DeJounte Murray getting traded for in the offseason, he's the number 2 guy over there behind Trae Young for this Atlanta Hawk team. So the last few games here for Collins, February 15th versus the Knicks, 8 points, 2 rebounds, a block in that one, 25% from the field. February 26th versus the Nets, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 threes, 62% from the field. And February 28th versus the Wizards, 10 points, 4 rebounds. So right now, he's not rebounding like he used to as John Collins. He's not putting up those 18, 20-point ball games like he used to. And right now, he's a guy that his numbers are definitely taking a hit with Murray there this season in Atlanta, but also a guy that I still think can help and contribute to fantasy teams here. And a guy you don't got to give up much to get, so I will buy him low this week. So that's a few centers I look to buy low and trade for here with the trade deadline in fantasy leagues here today for week 19 of the fantasy basketball season.